really cool feature of Zoom is a breakout room. So what a breakout room allows you to do is it allows you to take your entire Zoom section, so let's say you have 20 students on Zoom, and you can divide them into as many rooms as you want. And so let's say I take 5 rooms, I automatically or manually split my 20 students into those 5 rooms, and now I have groups of 4. And me as an instructor, I can bounce around and enter into these rooms. I can even call all the rooms back into my main section, talk to them all together, and send them back into their rooms again. It's a really cool idea. So in order to do this, I have breakout rooms down on the bottom left-hand or right-hand side of my Zoom screen. Now, if you're not seeing that option, it's probably because you don't have it selected in your options. So I'm going to screen share here a second. Well, actually, I don't need to do that, so I'm going to cancel that out. I'm going to navigate over to my settings. I went to zoom.us on my browser, and I logged in with my Google ID, and I scrolled way down to where it says advanced. You can see the heading in here as well. And you want to make sure that this one is toggled on. Breakout rooms allow hosts to split meeting participants into smaller separate rooms. And so once you do that, you will want to make sure you quit Zoom. So actually down here on this icon, if I do 2-finger click and quit and then reopen it, then you should have the option of these breakout rooms. And so now it's as simple as this. You just run your Zoom session like normal. And if I click on breakout rooms, here we go. I only have 2 participants, so I mean, you got to use your imagination a little bit, but I can create as many rooms as possible. So let's say I had 20, maybe I want to make 5 rooms. I can automatically have Zoom put these 20 people in those 5 rooms, or I can manually do it, which just allows me to select, and every time I select a person for a room, they get dropped from the list, and so by the time I get down to the last person, I only have 1 choice. It's really cool. Since I only have 2 participants anyways, it seems like it makes most sense for me to just do 2 rooms, and I will do it manually instead of automatically just so you can see it. And now it says create breakout rooms. So I can see here's my 2 breakout rooms, and if I want to assign someone, I can rename them too. But if I want to assign, I only have 2 people here, so I'm going to select Keegan for my first room, and that only leaves Zoe again for my second room. Again, automatic if you don't need to strategically do them is going to save you a little bit of time. And then if I wanted a third room, I can always add more on the fly. But now let me click open all rooms. So all participants have been invited to join their breakout rooms. And so if they don't automatically join, then you can see that that Keegan has not joined. Zoe has joined. I can always move, or I can move him to a different room. And so I don't think he's really paying attention right now. So I'm going to navigate out of here a second, and we're both currently in the main room. So what if I want to check on Zoe, who disappeared, right? Because she's in her breakout room. So I go back to my breakout rooms, and look at this, join. So I'm going to join, and do I want to join? Yeah, I sure do. So it takes a second to switch things over, and all of a sudden, I pop in. I am now in breakout room number 2 with Zoe, and it's just us. Now, meanwhile, if you're doing this in a class, you'd probably have more like 3-4 people in this room. You can pop in, you can hear what they're talking about, you can see if they're sharing their screens and talking about things, discussing, etc. And now you say, you know what, I probably should maybe like leave this breakout room. So I could click there. Do I want to return to the main session, right? So I can do that. I can leave the meeting. I'm just going to return back to my main session. And then meanwhile, I can just bump around to any of these rooms, right? So if I go back to here, I could go and join breakout room number 1, although like I said, my other participant hasn't joined yet. And then I can even broadcast messages to everyone. So again, we're all in different rooms, but if I want to send them a message, I can type something there and I can broadcast and say, hey, like pop back into the main room or something along those lines. If you don't like how the rooms are joined, or you see a good discussion, you're like, hey, I'm going to pop you over into room 3, and you tell them what you were just talking about in room 2, I can click on that. I can move them around there as well. I can close all rooms, and you can set this. It sets a default at 60 seconds. So if they don't pop themselves back over within that 60 seconds, they will automatically be forced back. But you can, again, there's options there if you want to make it a lower time. You can see you have quite a few options. And then maybe now we're all back together, right? So we talk for a couple minutes, and then I say, you know what? Back to our rooms. And I open up our rooms, and once again, they get invited to it. And so it's a really simple way to open them, close them, for you to jump around and join that discussion. Now again, Zoe jumped to that other room. So a really, really neat idea. Now, one thing to keep in mind as you consider using breakout rooms is you might also want to have the students have the option to share their screens. By default, I have my option off, so only I can share my screen, but you can change this live. So down on the bottom here, I have my share screen button with this little arrow right here. So I'm going to click the little arrow, and I'm going to go to my advanced settings. And here you can see, here's how I set it up in my settings, that only the host can share. Well, I'm going to change this to all participants, and now when I send them into their breakout rooms, they will be able to do a screen share. And so on Monday, my students are going to go into small rooms. They're going to share with each other some of the things that they created on Google Slides, and also some comic strips that they created on Storyboard That. And so their directions are going to be, right, get in these rooms. I'm going to put you there, and just kind of go around a circle, right, and share your screens, and teach each other, and learn, and see each other, and talk, and have community. Otherwise, everything else, you just run the same. And when you're done, you just end your meeting. The next time, you just tell it how many breakout rooms you want to get. So